Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is the Monday video where I join with the forces of evil. I don't know. I join forces with
Are they?
I join, I join forces with
Forces of
my good friend and not so evil guy, good guy. Actually, you look very holy, if anything. You know, you look holy right now because you're very like you got the white
light
shirt.
reflecting off my grey hair and making it a sort of halo.
Yeah, you got like a halo going on. So I forces of good, I should say. And we basically discussed the hottest Silver Age comics of the week, and it's a pretty interesting week. Um, Strangely, I have to tell you this, and this is not me being nice. Normally, I feel guilty about putting like Amazing Fantasy on the list, but there was no Amazing Fantasy sales
No,
this week.
there's its playmate is here.
Yeah, it's Playmates here, but the point is, I was actually shocked that there was no amazing. I was actually only wanting to put it on just because it's the bellwether. I haven't shown it for a while, and I was like, oh, I missed this book, and it wasn't there. So yeah, it wasn't from lack of trying. It just was not available to show.
Good.
Uh, but there's some pretty cool books despite that. Actually, some pretty big sales too. So yeah, so let's get into it.
Okay, let's have a look. Forces of evil. Can you get my computer to work?
I like to be random in what I say. I don't think about.
There we go. Here's our first one.
Yeah, I thought this one was a fun one. I actually have this book. I think it's interesting to see it on the list. Uh,
Atom
this is Adam Ant. It used to be a TV series actually.
Never heard of it.
Oh, really?
We had a pop star in the UK called Adamant.
Okay.
It was a sort of new romantic, uh,
Yeah,
but
I think I know Adam Ant. Yeah.
but
So that's the cool thing about Canada. We get sort of the influence from the UK and US. We're sort of in between in a weird way.
so you get Atamant and Adamant.
Yes.
This is
So
his appearance.
his first appearance, yeah.
First appearance and his own title, and he's on the cover. It's a triple
Yeah.
thing.
It's a triple key, triple threat. It's an awesome book. Um, so yeah, so it's one of these little guys that, sort of like Mighty Mouse or those kind of characters that are really small bit, pack a big punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So, how many tens of thousands of dollars is this worth, Alan?
oh, it's worth at least a
Oh,
fraction of that.
$186.
Yeah, it's an 8.0, which is a fairly high grade for this type of book.
Yeah,
I'd imagine this is like kind of close to the top of the census even. That'd
right.
be my guess, but maybe there's some file copies out there.
Right. So there's 596s.
So
There's
there's no 9.8. That shows you.
no 98. So this 80 just went for 186. 85 went for 290. 90 500.
Oh, it goes up really quickly.
But then it slows down because the 96 is only 650.
Okay. So it seems like that 9.2 is kind of the threshold where it kind of pops up a bit.
So
Um,
reasonable price to me. 180 for the 80 is about right, I think.
so what was the FMV, did they say? I can't really see.
180. Yeah.
Okay, so it's right on FMV.
Yeah, well, that's because there's one sale. So the algorithm has gone, okay, that must be the price then. And it's used,
Okay, so what's like a seven, was there a 7.5 or some
yeah,
slightly lower
75,
grade?
120.
Was there any sales though?
Well, no. So the only sale has been this 80.
Okay, well, how about the 6.5? How much did it sell for?
Well, 80, but I don't think any sold.
Oh, okay, so well, this tells us absolutely nothing.
No. So that was well worth the wait for me to find that, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, see. So we built up all that suspense. Basically, this is how a market gets established. These one-off sales, and then a few more sale, and we're seeing the emergence of a new market for Adam Ant.
Yeah, I won't be buying one. Right.
I actually have one. It's a cool book. It's
What
a
is
cute
it
character.
or slabbed?
It's raw.
Well, it's about
I
time.
think I paid like 20
Oh,
or 30 bucks for it. I didn't pay much for
right. Okay. So let's move on to something more.
it. Well known.
Oh, here we go. Of course, more well known is Falling in Love, issue 14.
Well, this is the reason it's on the list is this is like Silver Age romance.
Ye-
And it's not necessarily one of the best covers or anything special. I was just shocked by the price.
Yeah, 500. That's high for 7.5.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I was like looking at this. It's interesting in the respect that
Gonna
it's
be all right. Mike's.
DC romance.
Yeah,
It's not a great cover in my opinion. It's not a bad
Mike,
cover.
Mike Sikowski.
Is that who did it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. I
National.
can't ask you to marry me. I've always
I'll always be a nobody.
okay, cool.
Right.
That's that's sort of the reverse psychology thing, and then she'll be like, oh no, 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 you're great. So yeah,
These
so
are your romance tips. Uh,
this is really like to me is this really a 7.5? I mean, look at all the ticks, those are
yeah,
really deep ticks.
yeah, there are. I think they've been
But
fine with this.
I would have get it graded more like a 6.0. But oh
Right.
well.
Okay. So let's have a guess how many of these are on the census, Alan. I've seen, so I'm not going to guess.
Well, knowing my luck, I'm gonna say it's very low, maybe like 10.
One. This is the only one ever being graded.
Well, we're looking at the highest graded copy.
It's the highest, it's the only graded copy. See,
Well,
Alan's
that's why I was shocked when I saw it. I was like why would somebody like why is this going for so much? Why is it like.
well, they hadn't got anything to compare it against.
Yeah. I mean, it's rare maybe.
But well, no, well, who?
We don't know. Okay, how does this compare? Does it have any other sales or is this another one of my records where
Alan, this is one of one of one. This is the only graded copy, and it's the only time it's sold.
wow. So, here's just a, kind of a brain process that I go through sometimes. Like how do you price out a book like this? It comes up for auction.
Yeah.
It's the only graded copy. It's the only time you've actually seen it come up for auction. How do you grade? Like, how do you value it? Like, I mean,
Well,
if you look at eBay, you can see
okay, so
copies going for
the way
20
you
bucks.
value it is very simple, isn't it? Because it's a heritage auction. Heritage auctions start at zero. So two people were prepared to pay up to $500 for this.
Yeah, but my point is, as a person, like, if I just went to eBay, I could see that there's copies on eBay for about 50 bucks. Why
Yeah.
did it go for 500?
Because two people got into a bidding.
But you know what
But
I'm saying?
these
Like,
ones on eBay are not graded.
yeah, I know. Well, this is the only graded copy, so obviously they're not. But there's
But hang
probably a
on a minute,
better copy you could
these,
find.
well, these people here have gone, hang on a minute, it's just sold for $500 on eBay. I've been selling this for, I thought this was a dollar comic. I'm going to put it on eBay for $60.
Yeah. This is my friend David Alexander too. Actually, you're looking at the listing of. I mean, this looks like a solid copy too. I bet this looks about the same level, I should say, maybe a little
I
bit
think it's a
lower.
bit worse.
Yeah. But my point is, like, you know, if somebody's willing to go that high on a really random book like this, that actually is not rare enough that there's no copies even on eBay. It always shocks me that, there's these sales that just go up like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, that is a ridiculously high price. I think two people got into a silly bidding war because I bought a couple of romance comics on Heritage, as you know, and I bought a Jack Kirby 9 point
Mhm.
file copy for $150. So
Yeah.
paying $500 for a Mike Sikowski Falling in Love seems rather high compared to $150 for a Jack Kirby.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. It just seemed it like sometimes when I put things on the list, it's just because I'm shocked by the item. Like I'm shocked that this went for so much.
Well, I agree with you.
Because I always think, oh, these type of Silver Age romance, I think of like maybe $20 to $50 range. And the $50 one is more of a really nice cover. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, I don't know. It's just really surprising to me. So I don't know.
Okay.
Two
Right. So we've had so far we've had two
two
records because
two records.
nobody else has got a copy. Right.
So based on that, we can assume that the whole market is going crazy right now. It's like just all records. Um,
Alan's going three for three here on finding a comic nobody else has got graded in the grade. I
well,
think
okay, so I actually collect Millie the Model.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
And I was also shocked by this sale. I was like, what is going on here? You know, I was actually shocked how many, crazy big sales there were. Like, Millie the Model is one of those hard ones to find in high grade, though. It's usually kind of beat up because it was mainly in the hands of girls and girls were evil. Um, they generally mangle comics. So this is a Dan DeCarlo cover. Okay. So
Yes.
lots going for this Stan Lee story, Dan DeCarlo cover, and in high grade.
Okay. And it's Alan's type of comic because it's got a woman in a
Pretty girl on it. It's a good girl
woman
art
with an
cover.
impossibly thin waist,
Yeah.
red dress.
Well, that's how women looked back then. They actually would like cinch their waists until they had like 18-inch waists and stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So this sold for $600.
That's what I'm saying. I would have expected like 2 to 300. You
Right.
know,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. I was shocked by this. That's why it's on the list.
Right. Let's see. Oh, well, it's gone down in price, Alan.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting.
It's a record low. It sold for $886 in 2017, which was 8 years ago,
Wow,
and it's now sold for 20 to 5% less.
that's interesting. So I was actually thinking 600 seemed like a really high price, but I
Well,
guess it wasn't.
no, it wasn't.
Is this the highest graded copy?
Is it the highest graded copy? There's only seven on 790s. There are a total of, oh, sorry,
Yeah, it is
seven graded, of
three
which
nine O's
two are nines,
or
one is,
two or nines. Okay,
yeah, two nines. So, no, it's three nines. Sorry, three
three.
nines.
Yeah, I thought it looked like a three. Okay,
Oh, this is a really high census book compared to the number. I mean, look at this. There's
I know it's like massive.
seven of these, Alan. There's only one of the last one you looked at.
Yeah, I
So
mean this
far,
one.
Alan is going for major books. We have had a census of 40, which I thought was quite low. Then we went for a census of one, and now we're going for a census of seven. So,
But here's the thing with Millie the Model, just so you know. There's a group of collectors like myself
mhm,
that go after these books.
right.
They're very seldomly graded. Usually you find them raw.
Yeah.
Um, and finding ones in high grade, there are buyers for that, like that will be are willing to pay up for getting it in high grade because you just don't see it in high grade very often.
Well,
I bet you this is like a
there's
file copy.
207 of them, Alan. So have you got the full set of 207?
No, but I have about 30 of them.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean it's a hard collection to do actually because there are so many of them. I mean it was a popular title. It
Yeah.
ran for forever.
Yeah.
But this is like one of those run fillers, right? It's a Dan DeCarlo
Yeah.
cover, which
So
is also very
when
desirable.
did number one come out? Oh, 1945.
Yeah. Number one's actually I've been stocking a copy of that. I've been trying to get a copy of it. It's a pretty pricey book though.
Yeah, good luck. This hardly ever sells.
And number two, I have number two. I have number two. Like I have like pretty much most of the early ones. So yeah,
No, two is actually better.
two is actually key because there's like it has like sort of a cameo or a prototype maybe of Blonde Phantom
Yeah, it
before
says here,
she
Millie
actually had
becomes
her own
Blonde
title.
Phantom in order to sell Blonde Phantom perfume.
Yeah, she dresses up as Blonde Phantom. But Blonde Phantom didn't exist at that time yet in
Okay,
comics. It's kind of a cool first appearance in a way.
right. Okay, enough about Millie the model. Are we
It's a cool book.
are we going
I
to
like Marvel Good Girl art books. They're fun.
Okay, so Alan gets all the ones with 7, 1, and 40 sensors. I'm going to get Amazing Spider-Man 1, I think.
Well,
Okay,
that's
so
lots.
here we
Okay, here's
go.
the one that has lots on the census.
Yes, there are lots of these. Right, this is Flash number 200, 123. And is
I
it?
was actually disappointed by this sale, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well,
This is a major, major book. I just did book club with a group of friends where we were talking about this book. We read it and then discussed it. It's actually a really cool book because it's the first time that they introduced the concept of the multiverse.
oh, yes, okay. Is this the book that's responsible for all the mess we're in?
Well, yeah, but it sets up the idea of continuity between the Golden Age and Silver Age
Yeah.
because they just say, okay, Silver Age books are all Earth 1, Golden Age books are all Earth 2, and there's different versions of the characters from Earth 1 to Earth 2.
And
That's
never
why,
the twain shall meet. Oh, no, but they do meet somehow.
yeah, they do meet. So, and it's a classic cover. It's got a lot going for it.
It's a good cover, I agree.
It also is one of the first times where they break the fourth wall. So they actually, so the story's written by Gardner Fox,
Yeah.
and there's a reference in it where Barry Allen he reads comics by Gardner Fox about the Golden Age Flash. So it's like kind of funny that the writer is referencing himself
Yeah.
in the from the it's just such a cool little
Yeah.
like inside joke kind of thing.
Twist. Yeah.
Mm. But it's a cool book. It has multiple villains in it as well. It has the Shade, it has the Thinker, and it has the Fiddler as the three villains inside, which is fun. And they have to work together to defeat the three villains.
Okay. Bit
It's a
more.
fun book.
Um, right. So, Alan, if you must be an expert on this, so you should be able to tell us whether this.
Well, as I said, I was disappointed by this sale because this is a pricey book, even in
Right.
low grade. I thought this would have gone for more.
Okay. So, yeah. I mean, it's down. It's languishing down here at the moment.
So, what was the top price
Just
for this book?
right. So, looks like a COVID peak. A COVID peak at 1.7. Currently, just
So,
hovering under 1,000. I mean, it's not too bad.
yeah, so
I mean,
um,
I would claim this is just a steady graph upwards.
yeah, so this book had a bit of a boost also around the hype of the Flash movie
Right.
because the Flash movie is one of those kind of alternate reality things,
Yeah.
and people were specking, oh, is it going to have this kind of story in it, right?
Yeah.
So it got a bit of a boost during the Flash movie, and it looks like it's gone back to its
Yeah. Gone
original
back.
trend line.
Yeah, and it's got a nice. It's got a nice trend line, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean it's an upward trend line
It
overall.
is, yeah, it's a good trend line. It's solid book. So
Yeah, I mean this is a blue chip book.
it
It is
is.
like a major important book for DC, but also for all comics because it sets up the concept of the multiverse.
Yeah. Okay, which may or may not be a good thing.
And what's the census on it?
Census is 1,579.
Which is a which is high for DC, but low for Marvel.
Oh, it's high for us today. since
Yeah, it's like a
the
really
highest
common book.
previously was 40.
Yeah,
Right. Okay,
but
that's book. Right.
yeah,
Moving
that's a good
on.
one.
Superman 199. We got Flash doing his stuff again.
So this is another iconic one. This is the first Superman Flash race.
Is this the one that was a tie?
Yes, yes, it was. You spoiled it for everyone. Thank you, Mark. Now we're not going to have to run out and buy this book.
Oh, drat. I mean, you people have only had 43, 63,
Uh-oh, we're going to see your math
63,
skills.
60, 65 years or so to
No, 8.
yeah, 58,
68 years.
58 years. Oh, well, okay.
68.
I
Oh,
shouldn't,
yeah, 58, 58 years.
58. Yeah, I shouldn't have spoilt it for them, really.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a great book. So, I mean, to me, this is one of the more iconic moments in, DC lore where you have, it's sort of that question that all kids ask, who is faster, Flash, who's all about speed, but Superman's also, he's faster than a speeding bullet. Um, so who is the fastest,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So
It's
this,
like the sort of, it's like the kids who go, well, which is the stronger, a shark or a hippopotamus?
yeah, exactly. And actually the cool thing is in the Justice League movie, Justice League, they actually had them race at the end of it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool that they this is such a like important time.
Well, so if have you ever played Top Trumps?
No.
You know Top Trumps, where it's sort of it takes different. So if you had DC superheroes, for instance, it would give each
Uh,
of them a score for various attributes.
Oh, okay.
So, so you'd have strength, speed, agility, intelligence, uh,
Okay.
invulnerability, and you get each person would get a score. So what this means is, if we were playing top trumps, then Superman and Flash would have the same speed score.
Yeah. Uh I actually, I think Flash should win. He does eventually win in the later races, but again, spoiler alert. Um but because Flash is actually not about speed. That's like kind of a misconception in a weird way. He has the speed force where he can kind of go into that extra dimension of speed. So he can, go faster than Superman because he's almost ignoring time itself. So yeah, I don't know. I
Right.
thought it's a cool
Anyway,
book.
Flash was having an off day then because it was a draw. Unless he,
Yeah,
unless he was being kind to Superman.
but this is such a major book. I mean, you can see. I mean, obviously, if somebody's willing to pay $1,800
I
for it,
know. Well,
it must be a fairly major book.
I mean, I've sold a couple of low grade copies of this. It always sells.
Yeah, it's such an iconic book.
Right. So let's have a look. Do you think that's a good price?
Seems a little low based on just
This book is the flattest price over.
it's kind of like slowly meandering up, I would
Is
say.
it? Well, so if you go to 2011,
But
which
yeah,
14 years ago, it was 1916, and it just sold for
just slightly down. Yeah,
1800. So over a 14-year period, it's lost.
$100.
Yeah. Well, and plus whatever inflation would have done.
No, that you did look at inflation.
Oh, I did look at inflated. Oh, okay. Right. Yeah. No, against the.
That's inflated price. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's not a stunner, is it?
No. Which is interesting. Like this is such a key book. I don't know. I think it's a great book. I'm actually surprised how it hasn't really performed that well.
Mm.
But I mean, it's what it is. What's the census on this?
The census is 1517. So it's relatively low given that it's such a major book.
Yeah, I mean, I usually see this sell raw, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but it's not one that I mean DC, this is like a high census for DC actually. I'm used to seeing censuses below 1,000 at this era,
Mm.
so this would be, within that kind of typical
Yeah,
uh
and
if you're
probably
going to get a graded book.
yeah, and probably Superman is suffering a bit from being a second fiddle to Batman in 1967.
Yeah. I mean, this is like sort of reigniting the interest in both Flash and Superman.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so is that the five? I think that's the fifth book.
I think it was. Yeah.
So there's actually bigger books with higher census counts on Mark's channel. So go over to Mark's channel, check out those bigger books.
Well,
I
all I
like to
have to
do
do,
some obscure books.
all we have to do is have one Amazing Spider-Man issue 1, and the census of that completely wipes out everything on your list. I think there's more of them than there is of all those five added together.
Probably. Yeah, probably. Easily. So yeah, so I like to do like I always like to do a little bit of dabbling when I look at any like lists that I make. I like to have a bit of the romance. I like to have a bit of the cartoon. I like to have the major keys that everybody knows. I like to have the surprise sale, and I like to have the bellwethers. Um, and then I like to have some of the movie spec. Okay, so I try to have all of those elements in my lists. And that's why this list had some really obscure books.
Yeah.
Because I was like shocked when like to me that's a really
Yeah,
big
no,
sale.
that
Like,
somebody's overpaid for that romance book, definitely.
yeah, I mean that was pretty crazy. So yeah, so are there crazy books on Mark's list? We'll go. You have to go over and find out. That's the only way. So click the link in the description. Go over, check out Mark's channel. Okay, thanks everyone for watching. Bye for now.